Welcome to Lost on Ice, the show about the show 20 years later. Today we're talking about Season 2, Episodes 15 and 16. I'm Will, also here is Ben, and you can watch full episodes of the podcast on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube already, thank you. Good to see you. Ben and I also release a bonus hangout show every week that can be found at patreon.com/Dr. Skeleton. We've actually got like so many episodes. We have so many. We go a big back catalog. So if you want more of us, that's where to find it. So here we are. Episodes 15 and 16 of Lost. Man, they really had some filler episodes, I think, earlier in the season. And then they didn't drop huge tons of plot, but they packed it into this stretch a little bit, which is good. I'm glad we're gonna have a little bit more space to stretch our legs and unpack these episodes. I liked these episodes, Ben. I had a good time watching the show.
Yeah, today's episodes are very good, I think.
Yeah. So we watched Maternity Leave and The Whole Truth. And yeah, man, I'm excited about Lost again. I don't know. I'm psyched. It was a little rough going there for a little bit, but I'm back.
Yeah. I don't think I don't want to give anything away 5 seconds before we're going to say it anyway, but this one has I'm going to call it, you probably have a better name for it. I'm going to call it the Godzilla sound effect. Do you know what I'm talking about in these episodes?
No. What do you mean?
There's a very metallic sound during some scary flashbacks.
Huh. Okay.
We'll get to it. I think you'll remember once we get to it, but
maybe. Yeah, so this is the episode Maternity Leave we're talking about right now. This is episode 15. Directed by Jack Bender, written by Dawn Lambertson Kelly and Matt Raggianti. Cinematography by Michael Bonvillain, the GOAT. Air date March 1st, 2006. Yeah, okay. We get a lot into a peek at what else is going on the island here. Mm-hmm. What happened when she was kidnapped by Ethan?
Claire.
Back in season 1. Claire. When Claire was kidnapped, yeah. I gotta be honest. I've been so kind of jerked around by Lost a little bit. It seems like things really have not been moving for a while. As far as what the mystery of the island is, that I was writing off so much of this episode as just visions. I was doing misogyny on her. I was doing the other island the island guy behavior on Claire, just being well, this is probably just some dream, the whole time. Because there's no way they're actually going to tell us what happened. That's going to be some mystery we're going to learn in the last season of the show or something. I don't know. But no, we actually see Debunka and other stuff that's going on.
Yep.
And I've got let's jump into it. Okay. Aaron, little guy, the baby, becomes ill with it. For some, it feels kind of funny just call a baby by its name. Aaron becomes ill with a rash and fever. It's the baby, whatever. And Claire sets off in the night to find Jack. Locke intercedes and goes instead of her because he doesn't want her to see the bunker. That's part of it, but also wants to protect her from not being in the jungle alone. While Locke is gone, Danielle appears and tells Claire that Aaron is infected. Ooh. I will say it, John being a pretty good babysitter once again. And again, Danielle could do a lot better job of talking about stuff. Just say what's happening. You're being weird. Claire then remembers being injected with the needle while pregnant.
Yes. And these remembering
Yeah.
things, is this occurring? Do you know what I'm talking about yet? Whenever they do the Claire remembering things, there's this really loud screech.
Yeah, like horror movie type
Horror movie
sound.
thing,
Yeah.
yes. But it sounds sort of like when Godzilla roars in every Godzilla movie, basically. But
Okay, so
especially
I haven't
the
seen any of them,
originals.
so I don't think that would have. It's not
You haven't
connected
seen
for
any.
me.
You haven't seen any. I think you saw Godzilla -1 recently, at least. You didn't.
I started it and I was like, "What is this? Is it a big
You
lizard?
didn't even get
What the
to.
heck?"
You didn't even see Godzilla. Did Godzilla show up and yell? Hey everybody, I'm Godzilla.
Yeah, but like I don't know.
Scream,
It's like
roar.
it sounds like a monster. I don't know. He sounds like the god.
It's usually like a very metallic, like other movie monsters
Sure.
are like, "Rrr," like a bear, but Godzilla's kind of got this like metallic sound. Anyway, I really
Okay,
like
yeah,
that.
I
I
believe
think it's
you.
a very scary horror movie
Yeah.
sound. I like seeing that in Lost. It's October. I've started watching, I know you make fun of me for it every year, but I've started watching horror movies every day. So it fit really well in.
You are the king of perceived slights, my friend. The things that I make fun of you for, I make fun of you for plenty, but it's not the stuff that you think I'm making fun of you for.
Okay, sure.
What have you seen so far? We're 6 days into October. Are you doing it every day again?
I've been watching. I'm not a big fan of them, but I've been watching every Scream movie so far. Yeah. And I also saw Megalopolis last night, which is not a horror movie at all. But this sound in Lost is the best horror movie month thing I've seen so far, I would say.
Can I say I kind of want to? You've gotten into movies since we did our Star Wars series, and I kind of want to make you do the Star Wars series again after you've gotten
That's
into
not true.
movies.
I liked movies. I was watching movies for at least a year before.
Okay.
I never watched movies before that. I saw my first movie about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we should do a Megalopolis episode sometime. Kate sends Rousseau away, though Claire is now convinced that something is seriously wrong with Aaron. It's also kind of a weird name for a baby. Not that not that you shouldn't name people Aaron, but just that
It's spelled
sometimes
with
people name
A in the Wikipedia thing. It's
Yeah,
spelled with an A. That's what I
A-A-R-O-N.
thought. Every time Claire says it, it sounds like an E to me.
Well, I think we've said this before, right? But
The biblical thing.
babies, the island babies get very androgynous names. We get Alex and Aaron.
Sure.
That could be like, is that boy? Is that girl? And we get a girl in Alex's case and boy in Aaron's case.
Yeah.
Jack assures Claire that Aaron is fine and the fever will break, but she is unsure. Claire speaks to Libby, who helps her recall memories from the 2 weeks when she was abducted by an other named Ethan, William Mopather, that guy. People are talking so crazy to Claire in this episode.
Sure. Yeah.
I like this episode, whatever, but I said last week that like people's tone or people's motivations and approaches to like different like scene to scene in this stretch of episodes like seems to just completely change on a dime. Like they're talking so condescendingly to Claire, like the doctors on the island. Like Jack's like, Claire, the baby is fine, and then Libby says, Claire, you don't have amnesia. Just like really aggro for some reason.
Sure, yeah. I don't want to be mean to Claire, the fictional character Claire, or be seen as misogynistic to the fictional character Claire. But the writers, it's kind of their fault. They're writing her that way, you know. They
wrote a dumpy.
No, but they kind of wrote a person that it's like it's they kind of wrote it from the perspective of like a Reddit guy that calls people a breeder or something like that, you know, weird stuff like that. Where
I
like
don't agree with this take at all so far, but okay.
you don't agree. You don't agree that there's weirdos online that say that.
Oh, that stuff. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying, okay, what I'm getting to is they kind of wrote it from that perspective, and that they her personality is kind of just baby. I have a baby. She was a pregnant woman. That was her personality before. Now her personality is I have a baby. And I'm not saying that's not good. But I'm putting that on the writers. I'm sorry to the fictional character. I think the writers didn't do a good job with you. They kind of wrote you from the man's perspective of your personality is baby.
I am very willing to accept that, like, you know, there was misogyny in writing a woman in 2005 or 2006, I guess, at this point. We did have some things said from Claire earlier in the show in season 1 where she's talking about, like, when she was like first becoming friends with Charlie, saying things along the lines that were like, everyone just treats me so fragile that it's like it's just the pregnant lady that I can't do anything. It's like everybody is sort of treating her as if her only dimension is baby, and she was bucking against that at that point. And like, not to say that you can't like dip in and out and of being bad at writing a woman, but
I feel like you can't.
I don't know if I agree with her the characterization this episode though, of that like her personality is like just baby. Like
it's breaking.
I think she's
breaking a little bit.
I think she's justifiably very concerned about her baby.
Well, I know, but that's her only thing that she ever does is show up.
What's she gonna be? She's like, I think my kid is dying. Also, I was like really into ping pong for a while. Like I was like, I've got all these other hobbies and interests.
Other things going on too, you know, outside of, because my point is like they only write her in to show up to cry about the baby and scream about the baby missing. The baby's sick. The baby's missing.
Sure, gotcha.
Blah, blah. I'm saying
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
I am saying that she's an annoying character, but I'm saying it wokely.
Yeah, Ben's walking by her on the island, and instead of saying, "Hey, you should smile more," you're telling her, "Hey, you should do other things than just be with your baby, sweetheart. You're like, you should get some other activities."
No. I'm walking by.
Hey, why don't you pursue a business? Why don't you pursue becoming a high-powered executive?
I'm walking by and I'm saying, this is not your fault.
You could be so much more.
You could be so much more, and it's not your fault. It's these guys upstairs, the writers upstairs, need to give you something to do.
It's maybe worse. I think you need some enrichment activities. You would be such an impressive specimen to have here in this zoo. That's you to women. No, that's unfair. That's unfair to you. That's unfair to you. What I just did.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we emerged successfully as allies in this. Good job. Good job, Ben.
Yep.
We solved that once again. Claire remembers what resembles a doctor's office and Ethan giving her injections. This was where my mind and Zoe's mind went in the moment, that this was some sort of like hallucination or some sort of well, first of all, my mind was like, what the heck? Ethan was her doctor like back in Australia? I'm just a dumb guy. So I just thought that for a second.
I did think that I couldn't remember how much we were going to see in this episode or the next, and so I did think that to myself, because sometimes I'm watching the show and I'm just reminding myself, what is Will seeing when he sees this, not knowing the long-term trajectory of things, and did think, I wonder if he thinks that this is Australia. This is back in Australia.
Yeah, cut to me and it's the like the monkey clapping cymbals, like that's the feed. It's like when you go inside Homer's brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but then I thought that this was like they were out in the forest, but like Claire had been drugged or something to the point where she's imagining her whole surroundings like in a really
Yeah.
like
Well,
comfortable thing.
well, okay. To be clear, sorry, I'm making fun of it because you've seen the episodes now and you know that's not the case. But I don't think that that's that bad. I don't think that that's a bad thing to assume. I assume a lot of people probably thought that, right? Like
So it was smarter
because you're
to like actually go into the bunker and see that all
yeah,
that was real. Yeah.
you're either really trusting Claire for some reason, probably because you're a very empathetic person, or you're taking the show at face value, and at this point you're like, Claire is never correct on any of this stuff. She's always hysterical. I'm gonna treat her like
But she's been
the
right about
other.
everything. So
Well, but sorry, you're right. But everybody treats her
gotcha.
very
Okay.
poorly, like you were saying earlier. And you're like, well, I'm just gonna default to that line of thinking, and this is her imagination, or she's remembering something back from Australia that we just haven't seen in a flashback before. Yeah, it's very disorienting. And I mean, it's visually so fast as well. Like it's clearly not a typical flashback, right? This is a in the present time, flashing before her eyes type
Yes.
thing, memory thing.
Yeah, it is. It is formally presented differently than the other flashbacks we get. We get the Godzilla
Yeah,
sound instead of the whatever, the
the
reverse
rumble.
cymbal crash that we always get. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um so yeah, Claire was confused and apparently drugged during this entire ordeal, and she believes that she was still in Australia and about to leave for the United States. All right. So yeah, like kind of like you said, it was presented as such that you would kind of maybe think about that kind of thing.
yep.
So Claire enlists Kate to help her reach Rousseau and to find a vaccine she remembers from her memories. Great way of summarizing that, Wikipedia editor. She remembered from her memories, believing that it is the cure for Aaron's ailment. Aaron's ailment in the late 2000s, you could maybe name your
Band.
Damien Rice cover group,
Yes.
or something.
Yes.
That
Gotta say too, though, a little bad medical education there, though. A vaccine, it's
you're
not
gonna have to
gonna
get that before.
make you unsick. It's not gonna cure you. But yeah. Anyway, sorry. Got
We heard about all of my vaccine opinions last episode, so let's hear about Ben's episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Claire later
Claire, I
remembers
believe
Ethan.
you. I believe you now, Claire. But I got to take one more. I got to take one more jab at you. That's what me and everyone else on the island is doing.
Yeah.
Okay, you got us. You convinced us. But also, you were wrong about this other shit. So not gonna
Yeah,
let it
you
up.
were right,
Not
but let
gonna
me
let
just
up on the bullying.
I'm gonna quickly explain vaccines to you. Why don't you take a seat?
Yeah.
Claire later remembers Ethan giving her injections before leading her to a baby room. She also remembers Ethan talking to another guy. And Zoe and I were like, when we just heard his voice, we're immediately like, Zeke, it was that guy. But then we see him and he doesn't have a beard on. And so we're like, okay, I guess there's another guy. This guy is unhappy that Claire was brought to the facility as the list had not been prepared. I'm
Wait.
loving this. What?
Now I'm a little confused. You and Zoe, your thinking was that, and I guess I'm maybe just wrong here. Your thinking was that man is not Zeke because he doesn't have a beard, versus that is Zeke after he shaved.
Well, we see. Well, okay. Yeah, we just thought it was not Zeke because he didn't have a beard. And you saying like after he shaved is kind of sequencing things weird because this is a flashback and we've seen Zeke later with a beard. So like without
Sure,
you're just saying a clean shaven.
a clean shaven.
Yeah. No,
Zeke.
we just assumed it was just a different guy. Yeah.
Okay.
in the moment. I mean, like, yeah, if you've heard this episode or you've seen this episode of Lost, we see later that there's a fake beard, so it was Zeke, right? But or I'm saying Zeke. I don't know if it should be saying Zeke, but it was the guy that we talked about a couple episodes ago. But yes, I'm loving this stuff though. By the way, I'm loving the intrigue, the mystery here,
Yep.
the little like creepy, I don't know, society or like things going on.
Creepy things. Creepy stuff with babies and pregnancy stuff is super creepy too. I gotta say, that's a multiplier effect. Really evoked thoughts of future movie about 20 years later, Barbarian for me as well.
Ooh,
Did you end up seeing? I think
I
you
did see
maybe
Barbarian.
you watched the whole thing. Yeah,
I did.
it's got
It
a
was like
barbarian.
it's the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's got a
so scary.
barbarian basement vibe at times. It was cleaner than that, but like anytime you're like in a seemingly underground, like we don't see any windows, and
Tunnels
it's like
and
a
such.
baby room. You got like an industrial thing going on, but then it's like a room that's like painted up to be like a baby's room. That's creepy. It's
That's very
really
creepy. What's the movie with is it AI where Haley Joel Osment is it like a kid in it? For some reason I'm getting those vibes too.
Haley Joel
The
Osment. I think
facility.
he's a kid in a lot of movies, but I haven't seen AI. But probably, I think he's in that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, I think I've only seen part of it. I need to. I want to
Okay.
hit more Spielberg.
But yeah,
Anyway,
the baby stuff, industrial baby stuff, very creepy.
yes, that is the genre there. I think you would his like industrial or laboratory baby stuff,
But it's
facility
not.
baby stuff.
It's not even like it's not sci-fi. Like that's less creepy to me if it's like you're on the Wall-E spaceship. Okay, take away the Wall-E part because that's kind of leading. But like you're on a spaceship in the future and you've got people having a baby. You might say that's like an industrial thing, you know, but it's like futuristic and seems very sanitary and clean. And it's like everything is like that. But in this case, it's like, no, you are in
Yeah,
the
you know you're in a
present
bunker.
world. You're in
Yeah.
a bunker. Yes.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Ugh. Okay. So yeah, okay. This other guy, Zeke, clean-shaven Zeke, is unhappy that Claire was brought to the facility as the list had not been prepared. Yeah, I'm loving the like reference. It's just like I don't know what the list is about, but we know that there's like list stuff, and it's just very evocative. It's scratching itches to me. He also mentions that a higher authority will not be pleased. Ethan responds that survivors had a passenger manifest and knew that he was not on the plane. Claire and Kate find Rousseau, who takes them to the place where she found Claire the night of Claire's return to the camp. There, Claire wants Rousseau to take her to the room with the vaccine and grows accusatory of Rousseau she grows accusatory of Rousseau aiding her abduction when Rousseau claims that she does not know where the room is. Claire then notices a stump in the jungle that triggers another memory. She remembers Ethan talking about leaving the baby with his group when they had a walk out of facility. Okay, I'm going to finish the rest of read two more sentences and really get into this. Ethan says that she does not have a choice in the matter. Ethan gives water from a canteen and she complains of the sour taste. Ethan says that Claire's baby is one of the good ones. This is so good too. Like we're starting to see like a little bit of the like ideology filtered through Ethan's interactions with Claire for like what these people are doing. And I did dig up the drill tweet that is me and a bunch of stupid assholes are going to start a community in the middle of the desert to either die or prove a very important point. And I think that that's my theory about what's going on here.
Yep. We got somebody who's got an idea.
I don't know if I think that they are part of Dharma the Dharma Initiative necessarily, but yeah, they've got some ideas about like good ones, bad ones. We think back to the guy that Ana Lucia killed earlier, who was saying that only good people are taken. We got some village stuff going on in that way, that they've got this like,
It's a good comparison too. Yeah.
yeah.
Do you think I gotta bring it back to the topic always on our minds, both of our minds. Would you, if you're in this situation, would you test their knowledge of current events and specifically ask them, have you been here long? When I say the words 9/11, does that ring any bells for you?
I got some numbers
Have
for
you-
you, asshole.
Actually, it just occurred to
Yeah.
me. Rousseau hadn't heard about it. Nobody's told her yet.
Yeah.
Yo,
You
missed
are
out.
gonna lose your shit, girl.
She
I
missed out.
cannot wait to tell you about 9/11.
She missed out on a lot of. I mean, that's a stupid thing to say. Like she's there for 16 years, but like she missed out
16
on
years
a
as
lot
of 2004, because you in 90
No, 88.
or 88. Yeah.
Wow, and she was on a boat for a little while before then. But yeah. Now, if only I could think of all the things that happened between 2001, 9/11, 2001, and roughly 1988.
And it's gonna be pretty. There's gonna be a lot of stuff that she's like, I'm French, I don't give a shit about Bill Clinton, or like him playing the saxophone, or like all this stuff. Be like, no, trust me.
They had like
You're gonna want to hear about one thing at the end here.
anthrax attack. Oh yeah, Bill Clinton. Yeah, Monica Lewinsky. All that kind of stuff. Doesn't know about any of that.
They really oh man, but they should have had some things where like Hurley says something about like going postal, and Danielle's like, what do you
Wait.
mean?
She doesn't even know about the first Gulf War. She doesn't even Saeed. She's like,
second Gulf War.
what's the
Is there a first Gulf?
what's this
Wait, is
conflict
there-
you're talking about? What's this conflict in the Middle East? I didn't know there was anything going on. Iran hostage crisis probably doesn't know about that, right? It's like probably like, wait, is that 70s or 80s? 89?
They would know. Yeah, it was 70s.
Okay. So maybe
Right?
she's like, I thought that was later. I thought that was Ronald Reagan. So that'd be the
79 to
80s.
81. So both right.
Oh, okay,
There you
okay,
go.
okay. Yeah, okay. Huh. Anyway, whatever. Somebody's got to tell these people. Somebody's got to break the news to these people.
Anyway, okay, we got to move on. I'm having a great time. Okay, so investigating further. I mean, if we're gonna spend time on anything, it's got to be talking about 9/11 and all the
Obviously.
other stuff. But also,
Yeah.
this episode is just like it's gonna be the stuff that I want to sink my teeth into the most.
Yeah.
This is like a reward for being a good boy and watching enough of Lost to get to something like this. So, investigating further, the three women find a concealed bunker with the Dharma logo on it. Unlike the swan symbol and the Dharma logo on the Facility 3 bunker, the symbol on this bunker is a caduceus. What is that word?
like
The
a s-
caduceus is the staff carried by Hermes in Greek mythology, and consequently by Hermes. Whatever. Okay, it looks like the Doctor logo. Am I right
Sure.
about that?
Sure.
Is it? Interesting. I'm making that up, or I'm not. That's me commenting on it. But it's like a freaking It's a short staff entwined by two serpents, and there's like wings at the top.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the doctor thing.
Okay, nice. Inside, all but one of the lights are out, and the bunker appears to be abandoned. Claire reaches for rooms familiar to her memories. Okay, also part of this, like, the lights are, like, flickering, and Kate's like, I'm gonna go turn the power on. And Zoe and I were both like, I don't think that's the problem. It's like flickering, like the power's on.
Yeah.
But like then she'd go turn on a bunch of lights. Whatever. I don't doubt Kate, I guess. Claire reaches for rooms familiar to her memories, finds a booty she crocheted during her time there, and puts it in her pack. Investigating another part of the bunker, Kate discovers a set of lockers. Opening one, she finds tattered clothes, a box containing makeup, theatrical glue, and a beard. All parts of the disguise worn by that other guy in her previous encounter with him in the hunting party episode. Zeke,
Zeke.
right? Yeah.
You can just keep. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, you can call him Zeke. He's called Zeke
In this
lots of
episode,
things.
they're calling him just the other. So
Sure.
I'm trying to be more specific.
The guy who looks like Zeke, we can say.
Guy played by MC Gainey, that guy.
Yeah.
Claire locates the refrigerator where the vaccine was stored, but it is empty. She has a flashback of a teenage girl who rescues her from the bunker, saying that the others plan to take the baby and kill Claire. And at this point in the episode, I think we know that like that's Alex.
Yeah.
Or like
I gotta
we're thinking that's.
say, would you have, I did not peg her as a teenage girl.
Please refer to 2 weeks, two episodes 2 weeks ago where Ben says he doesn't pay attention to ages. He's not good at that sort of thing.
I'm just saying, I saw a competent doctor. I would not have said that's a teenager who doesn't know what they're doing. I would say.
Nobody said that. Nobody said that. I think you're bringing that to her.
She's doing a lot, but I mean, I guess my serious point is she's doing a lot of stuff, isn't she? I guess maybe she's not, during these flashbacks we see needles, and I guess maybe she's not really doing any of that, but I
didn't take her to I didn't understand that to mean that she was doing any of that stuff.
The needles in the flashback thing, that the quick succession.
Yeah.
I guess I mixed it up in my mind, but I don't know. She seems like she seems like Kate's age or Claire's age.
No, she seems younger. She's younger.
Whatever.
Back in the jungle, Claire remembers that Rousseau aided her escape and was not a part of the group that kidnapped her. Claire tells Rousseau of the girl with the blue eyes that helped her escape, implying it might be Rousseau's daughter, Alexandra. Ooh, I could edit this. They misspelled Rousseau here. We're gonna pause for a little bit. I'm gonna submit an edit correction to this article. We'll get back to it later. Okay, so Rousseau, on the verge of tears, warns Claire that if Aaron is infected, she knows what she will have to do. Claire and Kate return to camp where Jack reveals that Aaron's fever has subsided. He reveals that. Claire then takes out the booty and gives it to Aaron. Very sweet moment. So meanwhile, while this is happening, Jack and Locke try to decide what to do about Henry Gale, played by Cedar Rapids' own Michael Emerson. Locke gives Henry a copy of the Fyodor Dostoevsky novel, The Brothers Karamazov. Later, Locke tells Jack that Ernest Hemingway wanted to be the greatest writer in the world, but felt that he could never escape being in the shadow of Dostoevsky. Mr. Echo visits the bunker during this time and figures out what is going on. He asks Jack to let him see the prisoner alone. Jack agrees after Echo threatens to tell the rest of the camp about Henry. And Echo tells Henry about the two men that he killed when they tried to abduct him from his camp. Echo then threateningly takes out his knife, cuts 2 knots out of his beard, and leaves. And this, to me, was the first time that... so up until this point, I was like, Henry Gale, I believe his story. And it wasn't until Echo's encounter with him that I was like, oh, I think that that Henry Gale is another. And I just and I don't know that. I don't know if that's true. We don't see that in the stuff that we've seen so far or anything. That I've seen so far. I'm just taking that because Echo's just got like a vibe to him. He's got an air about him, and something about Henry Gale's reaction to Echo in there, and just like Echo's like presence there. It seems like, I don't know. It was good. I'm reading into it maybe a little bit, but there was something about it that I'm like, this guy killed 2 of his guys, and Echo like kind of knows that, and this guy kind of knows that he knows a little bit too. That's just where I'm sitting on it right now. Locke brings dinner to Henry. He strikes up a conversation about Hemingway and Dostoevsky. Henry heard the talk about the authors through the walls. Henry asks Locke which of the authors he relates to more, but Locke does not have an answer. He then asks Locke why Locke lets Jack call the shots, but Locke insists that he and Jack make decisions together. And this is the next point. I was like, okay, yeah, this guy's like, he's manipulating, he's doing enemy type behavior. I no longer believe him. Yeah. Locke locks up Henry and returns to the bunker's kitchen, where he loses his temper and violently sweeps the dishes off the counter, which can be heard by Henry. In parentheses there at the end. Yeah, this is a great episode. I'm all about it. I love the mystery stuff. And I guess to Henry's credit, or to Henry's story's credit, he does have a very white Minnesotan response to seeing a black man in his cell. He's like, oh, so maybe he really is from Minnesota. But yeah, I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5. This is a great episode.
Yeah, it's a 4 for me too.
I'm also gonna dock Sun some babysitter points while we're at it. Sun tells Claire that a mother should not leave her child, and frankly, she's mom shaming. So, Locke once again running up the score on Sun. I will also say this about Claire: she looks like Heath Ledger.
That is true. I agree with you. We finally agree on something on this this show. Yes, 100%.
Okay. Cool. Let's talk about the next episode. Let's talk about season 2, episode 16, The Whole Truth. Jack is back on his shit in this episode. Let's go. This is directed by Karen Gaviola, written by Elizabeth Sarnoff and Christina M. Kim. Originally aired March 22nd, 2006. And this one's about Sun and Jin. Flashbacks. In their apartment, Sun and Jin are about to have sex when Jin asks Sun if she took her temperature, ruining the mood. As they have been trying for a year to conceive, he thinks that she should see a fertility doctor. Sun asks why he wants a baby he will never see. Jin says he is sorry for the things Sun's father makes him do and that a baby would change everything. The doctor, however, advises them that Sun cannot conceive due to advanced endometriosis. Sun enters a hotel room, which is all of the rooms in Sun's backstory. Every single room that is in a Sun and Jin flashback is a hotel. But yeah, she enters a hotel room to meet Jay Lee, her suitor from before meeting Jin. Whoa, Sun's cheating on Jin.
It wasn't really. I don't know. Suitor is. I guess that's technically correct.
Yeah, I would say that.
Just not a pursuitor, because he dumped her. Sort of.
Yes, that's true. But like they whatever. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. So, but I'm like, yeah, Sun's cheating on Jin. What the heck? But actually, Sun is regularly meeting with him to learn English and to seek advice on a relationship, which is still a bit, I don't know. I don't think Jin would. It's still weird.
Sure.
She tells Jay that she was glad to learn about her fertility. Sun is learning English to leave Jin for America. Having feelings for her, Jay tries to convince her to stay. So yeah, we got like a bit of an emotional affair here going on. All of the other things being like held aside, like, yeah, she is trying to leave an abusive relationship. I'm not trying to put the blame on Sun here. Okay. Sun is walking her dog when the doctor drives by and confesses that it is actually Jin who cannot have children. He previously lied, fearing that Jin would burn down his practice if he found out the truth. Ooh. On the island, an angry Jin tries to take Sun away from her garden and back to the beach, given her previous abduction from the garden. They have an argument, and Jin pulls out all of the plants. And this is another minute that I think they mostly landed it stuck in this episode. But like, as far as backtracking on character progression goes, like just a few episodes ago, I think we like had a pretty good like we were in a good place with Sun and Jin, and that like Jin had kind of like learned and grown and all of that, and then like this I think
but
was just like, well, he just has like abuser, he's just doing abusive shit again.
I think this one you are supposed to see as this is tensions have heightened again with her getting burlap sacked.
Sure.
And then him being worried for her again when she's out on her own in a dangerous place. The scene of the crime specifically before.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I think that's
well, I'm just saying, I don't know if I will jump to saying that it's just him being an abuser again. I mean, I think that comes out in how he handles the situation, but I think you're supposed to see it as a genuine like response of fear rather than like the jealousy that you see out of him in most of the first season,
Yes, I think that they should have had him do something besides like ruining something that she is like that, right? And this is aside from just like, oh, I want my show to like reflect, my politics back to me or whatever it is that I'm trying to get. I just think that like if you want to get that from the characters, that was an extreme decision to make that I think like goes too far in that direction of like being protective. He could have maybe, I don't want to start suggesting behaviors here middle of the episode for that, but yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a little bit, it muddled the point, I guess, a little bit. That was maybe not intentional because like it kind of resolves by the end of the episode and we're like, am I supposed to, I think they want me to be like happy about where this ended up rather than like sick to my stomach thinking that like he's just like one thing away from pulling more abusive shit on her.
Sure.
Okay, so Sun runs to the beach and in pain meets Bernard and Rose, who are having an argument of their own. Bernard missed Rose's birthday. That's what they're arguing about. Sun later asks Sawyer for a pregnancy test, which turns out to be manufactured by Widmore Labs, which I did not pay attention to, but apparently I am now. Think about that. I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
She asks him, but this is what I've been waiting for a week to bring up to you now. Sawyer is, as usual, sitting on the beach, reading a book. Sun comes up to him and says, like, hey, what's going on? Or something like that. Pretty nice. She's being pretty nice to him. I think most people aren't. And he says, like, I found some new glasses and I'm reading a book. And she, I believe, is like, how's the book? And he says, in a really weird voice, not enough sex for me. And if you look at the book, he is reading a book by a very notable, well-known children's author, Judy Blume. I just thought it was very funny and I think probably unintentionally grosser than
Yeah.
it needed to be
Yeah.
or was intended to be. It's just, oh, he's reading a book. He's like, not enough sex in this book for like 12-year-old
You
girls.
want there to be more sex in
The Judy
that
Blume
book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could find it because it says Judy Blume on it. I'm sure you could look at, I didn't recognize the book. I just recognized her name, so I didn't look, but probably goes deeper than that if you were to look it up and figure out what he's actually reading about. But who knows?
Was it Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret? Is that what it was?
I don't know. Is that mentioned?
Well, we see this it was the famous I think that's what it was.
Okay.
And when you click on it, sorry, I googled Judy Blume, and I see Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. I click on it, and it's searching it in Spanish now. Estás aquí, Dios? Soy yo, Margaret. Whatever. I was gonna try to see if there's like an obvious like theme for that book that we could glean, but all right, I will not glean. I will not glean.
I also was thinking about at this point too. It kind of first came to mind when he said the glasses thing, but then especially when he's reading the Judy Blume book, like that was, I guess, a dark thing. Like that was probably brought onto the book by like a child,
a dead kid
who is now dead, and now there's just the one of the creepier guys on the island saying stuff like
that's
that.
pretty dark.
You're like, this book fucking sucks, and it doesn't have enough sex in it. Like, yeah, because it was brought by a now dead child onto this plane before it crashed.
That line from him is something that I do think is like realistic in so far as like some like guy who like accidentally says something like way grosser than he means to in an attempt to be like only like 15% gross to something 98% gross.
Yeah.
And then I think that like if you know I would be holding my homies accountable. Like if I heard my boy say something like that, I'd be like, yeah, you wish there were more sex scenes in freaking Goodnight Moon, dude. What the hell?
Yeah. Sun handles it pretty well. He gives her a hard time about getting the pregnancy thing, but I will say I was a little impressed that he has had more restraint than I would have thought after that book comment when it comes to a pregnancy test for her, you know. He kind of goes straight into scammer mindset instead of horny guy mindset on the follow-up questions.
True. I will say, okay, I'm going to pick this thread up from the previous conversation or the previous episode last week about how Sawyer is just kind of like back to normal chilling, whatever, how that's like, I'm frustrated by that a little bit. Like he was going like warlord mode before. And he's just back to like, what? Why do people want to hang out with me? Or like that worked before when you were just being like a dick. But now you're like actively holding everybody hostage, like at gunpoint, like literally.
Yeah.
And now you're like, I don't know, playing it doesn't work, dude.
And he's also, I guess that brings to mind too that speaking of everybody on the island having very selective memory about what's happened recently, like there was a period of 4 or 5 episodes where he kind of become close with Michael. You might say he was Michael's friend and he wanted to look out for him. He was Jen's friend. Michael is now, off Rambo mode or whatever. And Sawyer, on
honestly,
top of this other stuff,
folks should be saying like he's dead, like presumed, like probably dead.
I guess that's true. Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes more sense than how I read it, which is just like Michael's off doing Rambo stuff and Sawyer's reading teen girl books on the beach again. That's yeah. But I can kind of see from like a writer's perspective how it gives you a nice like quantum state for a lot of these characters if you don't quite know what you're going to do next with them, depending on audience reaction or whatever, how other things play out, because you can both quickly pivot to Sawyer's a good guy who's converted at heart recently, or Sawyer's a warlord, depending on what's useful
Yeah.
to the episodes.
And again, like depending on what the show is trying to do, like otherwise, like big picture, I have more or less of a problem with that kind of thing.
Mm.
I think that, like, you know, when Atticus and I were watching The Sopranos and going through it episode by episode, we like, I don't know, like sometimes the characters will just, yeah, we'll return to that when it's useful, and it works better in that show than here. I think when there's like there's this mystery box element at play where it's like, oh, we'll just drop the mystery for a while, we'll like pick it up later,
Sure.
and then sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that. Okay. Locke convinces Ana Lucia that given her police training and encounters with the others, she should interrogate Henry Gale. Which,
We already had a military specialist in torture and investigation, whatever,
Yeah.
do this, but let's give it to the LAPD
like,
drop
beat
out,
cop.
kick out, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Hot
yeah, so I'm
head.
gonna say I will take points away from Locke on that front.
Yeah.
Because yeah, this is more proxy war between him and Jack episode
Yep.
here. He's trying to do more of this. So Gale repeats the balloon story and draws a map to the balloon where he had buried his wife. Ana Lucia promises to keep him alive if the map confirms his story. Together with Said and Charlie, she goes in search for the balloon. Ana Lucia realizes that Charlie carries a concealed gun and asks him to give it to someone who knows how to use it. Charlie reluctantly gives the gun to Said. He taunts her with it, which I gotta say, hey, you know what? Let's have like the most annoying characters face off against each other and torture each other. So like I was there for that a little bit.
Sure.
While waiting for her pregnancy test results to show up, Son asks if Kate has ever taken a test. Kate replies that she has. When the test turns a positive, Son does not seem thrilled. She asks if it is accurate, and they go to Jack to find out. He says those tests are very accurate. Son asks Jack not to tell anybody. Ana Lucia joins Said by a campfire and apologizes for what she did. Said said it was not her fault and explains that he holds the others responsible for Shannon's death. He comments that once they find out if Henry is one of them, something will have to be done. Once again, Ana Lucia like drawing Said into her bullshit again. It's like, of any of the people on this island that hates me, like, you have the most reason to. Why don't you? Like, why don't you pick up this gun and kill me right now? Like, you need to
Chill.
We need to like
You're a
never
cop.
talk. I don't know. Sorry. Yeah.
You're not relevant. Nobody cares. Being a
next
cop
morning-
is being a cop in a show with a guy who was a military torture specialist or whatever is kind of like if you were to crash, in my mind at least, it's like if you were to crash and the first guy who steps up and tries to take control of things is like a mall cop. And then it's revealed like, oh yeah, we've got another cop. If you're the mall cop, just chill. You're a background character now, my dude. You have been superseded in skill level by the cop. That's no unintentional respect to cops in this statement, but hopefully you get the idea. You got a cop and you got a mall cop, don't need the mall cop. You got a cop and you got this military guy, don't need the cop anymore, Just chill. Hang out.
Yeah, I think that still like Said is still like on the he still retains the moral high ground too, because once again, like, he didn't really have like a choice to do the torture stuff, really, like we saw, or
Sure.
whatever. He's like coerced into that sort of thing. This whole like army stuff is like coerced as well, his experience there. But now we could be using it on the island, whereas we have Ana Lucia begging to go threaten people with her gun.
Yeah.
On the force. The next morning, Sawyer tells Bernard that Sun is pregnant in front of Jin. However, Jin can understand them. This, I mean, like, whatever. Like, we already know, like, yeah, they're really, like, making Sawyer seem real shitty recently, but, like, this is, like, especially, like, this fucking sucks, dude. You're just being, major dickhead. I really did like, though, the like, making English from Jin's perspective.
They do the Twin Peaks voice. They just reversed everybody's voices, which I thought was, I don't know if I'm going to say I like it, but I did think it was very funny that you go into Twin Peaks mode.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was effective in that, like, it sounds like English without it being like, do you ever see those like videos of people who what English sounds like to a non-English speaker? Those are great.
Yeah.
It's like really hard for any like English speaker or any American to actually do. Like, you gotta like not actually be able to speak English, and it's really good. So yeah, Jin goes back to Sun and he replants the plants that he had pulled out. He apologizes and Sun admits that she is pregnant. He is overjoyed, but Sun reveals that he is the one who cannot have children, not her. He asks Sun how he can be pregnant. Sorry, I'm going to rewind here because this summary omits something that I think is important here for this episode. When Sun goes to Jack and is like, "Hey, can these pregnancy tests, are these accurate?" And he's like, "Yeah, they're very accurate." He wilds out with some advice here, and he's like, if I were you, and take this for what it's worth. This is just advice. But you should, and then like oversteps by like 2 miles, and is like, you should go to Jin, tell him the truth, and tell him the truth about everything. Tell him the truth about why you know English, etc. Like, all this kind of stuff.
Oh, you didn't say that. I agree. I don't know if I agree that that's overstepping, to be honest. I thought it was stern-ish, but good advice. He says, I think you quoted it pretty closely to directly, but like, yeah, he's like, I think you should tell Jen the truth, and I think you should tell him all of the truth. Because she makes the comment to Jack about don't tell anybody, and he's like, why, you haven't told Jin yet? And she's like, it's kind of a sensitive topic, and he sarcastically is like, sort of like how it was sensitive that he was the last person on the island. Complicated.
Yeah.
He's the last person on the island to find out that you spoke English too, and then that's when he follows up with like, my advice, do with it what you want, but like, tell him the truth and tell him all of the truth. I didn't think that was that bad, but maybe I misread it as well. Maybe I need to stop telling all my patients that same thing.
Well, that's kind of what I mean. It's like, you gotta just be Doc, bro. Like, I don't know.
But nobody's normal. This is the island of weirdos. Everybody's getting in everybody's business,
True. So Jin asks Sun how she can be pregnant, and she promises she did not cheat. He then helps Sun rebuild her garden. He believes her.
Oh yeah. I guess you explained it in the flashback. Yeah, she explains to him, actually, you've got problems with your junk, and you're the problem here. I have to say,
you have a fucked up dick.
I couldn't remember how this episode went, especially this ending as we got to it, and because like, so I was like kind of watching this as if I was watching it for the first time again, and laughed a little bit to myself when she says that. And then, like, with how Jen has been very recently in the last episode and stuff, being aggressive again, like, I'm anticipating him getting upset again and being like, so you cheated on me, right? You cheated on me with
I think that is the expectation there. Yeah.
yeah. And instead he's just like, wow, so it was a miracle.
Yeah.
And
I thought that
it
was I
does
honestly thought that was a good
wrap up.
moment
Yeah.
that they made that work.
I do. Yeah, I like that I don't disagree that it works, but I did think it was, like, I don't know, funny, I guess, to whether he fully believes it or not, to to just go right to it. Okay, it's a miracle then.
I think that was meant to, signal the progression in
Trust.
the relationship that was,
Yeah.
and this kind of goes back to my point of, like, earlier, where, like, yeah, with his actions lately, like destroying the garden is sort of is like at odds with that, believing. It's kind of like a
Yeah.
quick turnaround going from so negative to so positive. And that's why, like, if it was something other than destroying that garden in that way, like,
Yeah.
that would maybe have hit a little bit harder and not been so yo-yo. But yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
Sun asks if she can stay and work in her garden as Jin wants to return to the beach. Jin bends down and kisses. Well, and he says yes. Why would you? Okay. Summary. Okay. He says, like, of course. Yeah. And then that was the growth there. That, like, he's letting her, or he's letting her. He's letting go of seeing her, like, making less of a deal about it. He's growing. Their relationship has evolved a little bit now. That, like,
Yep.
he see where he screwed up before, and he is not going to insist on his way or the highway kind of thing.
Yep.
Ways before.
I have a question for you, a polling question. I want to know.
Can I wrap up this scene?
You can wrap it up. Yeah.
Because I think this was a really nice moment. Jin bends down and kisses Sun. He tells her he loves her in English.
Mm-hmm.
It was really sweet. And I gotta say, though, I think Sun should accuse him of, like, where are you learning English? But yeah, okay. Anyway, what's your polling question?
One just covers some bases. Do you think Sun's actually pregnant? And two, if you do, how do you think she got pregnant?
Okay. Yeah, but neither would be question. Neither question I would have thought to ask, because I'm thinking, until you ask me these questions, I am thinking, obviously, yes, she's pregnant, and obviously she's pregnant because she had sex with Jin. But now, now that you asked me the questions, I'm thinking now.
I mostly asked the first question just in case you wanted to say that, oh, actually, I reject your premise of the second question because I think she's pregnant.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you can, if that's how you feel, you can ignore that one. So yeah, how do you think she got pregnant then? You said Jin?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, now not anymore.
I'm not trying to lead you I'm not trying to lead you anywhere. I'm just saying, but don't you think those are reasonable questions as a viewer? I'm really not trying to lead you anywhere or say that it's different than what you think. I'm just, if they are both accepting the premise that Jin shouldn't be able to have a child.
I'm like
just
island magic. Island magic and it's Jin.
Yeah. Or it's something that happened, the timeline's getting a little too long now, but something that happened before she came to the island or something like that, or anything else. Is it another person? Is it magic? Is it
They're there like
Jinn?
90 days at this point.
Yeah, they're pretty far. You're the skinniest person on the island, but you're gonna have a baby tomorrow. Actually, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I think
just
this
wonder
is.
what's going through your mind, or if it sounds like you
No,
just
I'm
kind
just
of
taking it as face value.
took it at face value. Yeah,
But with the
but
miracle
then
thing,
with
I'm
the
taking it
miracle
as like
thing,
it is a miracle, meaning island magic.
yeah, and just you don't have anything in particular in your mind.
No.
Okay.
I mean, other than like, yeah, chalk it up to like this place is special and special things that are happening, and well, maybe I don't think we'll ever find like I'm not expecting like a hard and fast, like scientific or logical explanation for like the some of the things that have happened. I'm down with it just being like a zone of
It's the baby zone.
yeah, just zone of I don't know, unexplainable happenings.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the obvious one being Locke being able to walk now, like
Sure.
as he regains use of his legs. I'm not like being like, sometime we'll find out that like everyone was passed out when they first landed for a little bit, and the other swooped in and like did some surgery on his spinal column and like hooked his shit up, and then like hit play on the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jack takes Henry out of his prison. Henry eats some cereal. He says he figures it is his reward for drawing the map. Locke and Jack are caught off guard since they didn't know about the map. Henry then mentions that if he were one of the others, he would have probably led Ana Lucia, Saeed, and Charlie into a trap where the others would take them hostage and trade them for him. Yeah, and so at this point, I'm like, I already, in this episode, I'm not trusting this shit, and then like, yeah, I'm like, oh no,
Michael Emerson.
yeah, I gotta say, okay, if indeed that Saeed, Ana Lucia, and Charlie are captured by the others, I think you could be like, all right, Saeed, you are a complicated character. It is going to be a loss, but on the whole, you are not.
We have lucked out.
Yeah, like 2 out of 3 ain't too bad, and we're just gonna cut our losses and do
back,
what you will, you guys.
walking back to the beach camp, and as Sun has revealed her miracle pregnancy to everyone, and saying like in very biblical voice, like, "Hark, a second miracle has happened today. We are rid of Charlie,
Great news, you guys.
and Ana Lucia."
Yeah,
they are finally gone.
Yeah, we are gonna, prayers up for Saeed. Sorry, you had to take one for the team like this, but like, all in all, this could have gone way worse.
Way worse, yeah.
We could have lost Sun. We could have lost Locke. We could have lost Hurley. We could have lost Steve. God forbid we lose Steve.
I mean, it could have. It could be a curse though, because then what if it's like if this is what you believe, what if it's that the others have two people, or sorry, now three things, two to three things against the oceanic flight people, which is that, hey, if you don't do what we say, we're going to send these people back to you.
Yeah. If you don't listen to our every word, if you don't do exactly what we say, we're going to let these guys go. Oh God, Jesus. Okay. Yeah. We'll stop torturing. We'll stop sending you fingers of Charlie's fingers back in like wrapped in like brown paper bags. Like, oh God, we want to keep those coming. We want to make sure that we know that he's not doing well. Yeah. Begging with the hostage takers that like, can you kick him in the stomach a few more times? Yeah. Not sure that I heard his voice quite right. Yeah. Okay. So that is Lost season 2, episode 13 or episodes 15 and 16. I'm going to give episode 16 a 3 out of 5. Don't really like how they backtracked on Jin's character, but yeah, 3 out of 5. We don't get a bunch of more mystery stuff. I'm kind of guessing that going forward, that's going to be coming. Probably mostly at the end of the season. I'm guessing they kind of dropped a kind of a care package towards the second third of this season, so that you can to tide you over until we can do a cliffhanger at the end of this season 2.
Sure.
But yeah, that's how I feel about it. What's your rating for this episode?
I'll give it a 4. I liked it quite a bit. But there are highs to come. There are lows to come. I know that is how I've ended most episodes for quite a while now, but yeah.
Very well. Well, gang, next week, your assignment is to watch season 2, episodes 17 and 18. We're going to do another group of 2 and then another group of 2. We're going to be watching, season 2, episodes 17 and 18, Lockdown and Dave. Apparently.
Dave. Yep. That's not
what the giggling's about. Okay.
Not a hint. That's pure. That's pure me just being in the moment.
I'm seeing signs everywhere.
I'm seeing the show for the first time, and I'm seeing it in the TV guide on my in my grandma's bathroom in the TV guide booklet or whatever. And I'm like, damn, I cannot wait for episode.
Can't wait
19,
for
Dave.
Dave's not here. Yeah. Thanks for listening to the show. If you're interested in hearing more from us, you can check us out on patreon.com/drskeleton. You can email us, drskeletons@gmail.com. And you can stop, being mean to us on social media. That's another thing that you can do. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next week. Goodbye.